This episode of 1v1, the Creator Interview Series, is brought to you by, well, you. If you want to learn how to support this show and the Boss Rush Media family of podcasts, head over to patreon.com/bossrushmedia or search for us on the Patreon app on your smart device. Thanks for helping us build something better.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to this 1v1 Fireside Chat edition. I am your host, Corey Deering, and alongside me on this Fireside Chat with the slippers on, and the robes tucked in, the trading in the whiskey for some caffeine. So we're both parents.
I need to be quiet so I don't wake my son up.
Matthew Kiel is here. Hi, Matt.
Hi, Corey. How you doing? Oh, wait, no, that was just a joke. I'm not actually going to do that the entire time. How are you, man?
Good. Working a lot, doing a lot, but
yeah,
you know, hanging in there. You know, how are you? How's dad life?
So I was telling Reba that I don't understand why. I can't really articulate it, but I do really think being a dad is cool.
You're a cool dad.
Well, hang on. Let's not start handing that out.
I heard you say that. I'm a cool dad.
No, I don't think I'm a cool dad. At least once my son starts understanding the horrible jokes I can make, I'm probably going to be less and less cool. But you know,
I hope they don't go back and listen to our old podcasts.
Oh boy.
Oh, too late for that now.
He's got. Oh, what have we done, Corey?
I don't know.
What have we done? So 1v1. We like shooting baskets. Like, what are we doing?
I don't know, man. I mean, so just to for people who don't know, if you're newer here, which I know a lot of people are newer over the last couple months. Matt and I.
I'm basically newer here. So
Matt and I used to do a podcast together, and the reason why we're calling this a Fireside Chat is because once we started adding people to our old podcast, and it was just me and Matt, we would call them Fireside Chats, and so that's kind of what we're doing here. Maybe semi-regular. I don't know. We've kind of been floating this idea back and forth for a little bit. You know, every couple months we'll get together and hang out and catch up, and you know, how do they say it?
Just be buds.
Shoot the shit.
Shoot the breeze.
Yeah. So
shoot the ducks and duck hunt, because this is a video game network, so we got to do a reference. We have to.
And our kids are the dog that laughs at us when we miss. Right?
Oh, buddy. I'm pretty sure my wife will join in too. But speaking of wives, I'm going to tell you this on record. I have a birthday present for you.
Oh no, what's this?
Can't tell you. It's a surprise.
That's...
But a little bit of enterprising. Sana was on board with it.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Yeah. No, honestly, I'll tell you what. It's something I had to pre-order. It's and it'll be relatively limited edition. I'm not going to go into any, but I needed some details about you. Nothing like offensive. And I made sure she was on board with it before I did it. And she said, "Oh, that's so sweet. Let's do it." And she got what I needed. And she gave me your address. So you will get it early. I believe you're a November baby, yes?
Yeah. We're like 2 weeks apart, I think.
Okay. I don't remember the exact date, but you will get it in October. Just so you know. And I think you'll be pleasantly surprised.
My wife was on board with this, you say?
Yes. So it's not like embarrassing. It's not. No, it's something I saw and I thought of you. And frankly, I did the dumb thing that I tend to do.
The Matt thing.
Yeah. And to be honest, I got me one too, so we can
Oh,
match.
nice.
So
we can match, huh?
yeah.
Hmm.
And before
Okay.
before LaRon gets crazy, no, I did not get us matching cock rings. You know.
Too bad.
Right.
Oh man. This is exactly how I expected this to start.
So,
oh man.
you know what? I'm just gonna instead of letting you host here, I'll just start throwing stuff at you. Can I ask you a question?
No.
Is
No
there a
questions on the show.
point? So my son,
Yes.
he's just over 2 months old now. And it seems that whenever I hold him, he is absolutely unhappy.
Oh yeah.
Is that something that you experience with like Riley? And
Oh yeah.
okay.
Oh yeah. They go to mommy first.
Okay.
Unless they absolutely want something.
Then they start trying to negotiate
my
you against Sana.
yeah, but also I mean they're around her a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, like I mean she works from home and
Sure.
I do sometimes too, but like it's I don't know, man. It's they love mommy, and I think that's just how kids are, you know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not naive. I'm not naive enough to realize that there are certain aspects of the mother-child relationship that a father cannot have. Like she feeds him. She feeds him, and I cannot do that. I'm physically incapable.
Look, dude. I mean, look. You think of the amazing things that their bodies do, right? I mean, we did our job for like 10 minutes. They carried
Wait,
for
you
9
went 10
months.
minutes? Good for you, man.
Yeah, no, self 5 you know, it's and then they carry it, they birth it, they feed it.
We provide a little bit of fuel for that build a baby workshop, and then
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that's really it. That's
we're like
all we do.
we're like the little driblets of gasoline on the dry
Yeah.
on the dry wood pile that starts the forest fire. You know what I mean? And
Yep, sure.
oh, there we go. There we go. You know?
But I will say this: I'm proud of my wife because I had this weird feeling that postpartum difficulties were going to be a thing here, and they weren't, or at least they haven't been yet. I don't know if it's like too early, but I've heard that like it starts kind of like a couple of days after you get home. But she hasn't really had that, and I did. One thing I will say is that in fact, I'll share a little bit. Our journey here was by no means a straight line. We never, honestly, a couple of years before Reba met me, and we met in 2017. She was told she would never carry. So when we got together, we had I don't know if I've ever told this story, but she and I had the most awkward first date ever. I think all we so let me set the scene. She shows up looking very nice. She showed up proper date attire. I show up in an ugly Christmas sweater with a Wu-Tang Clan theme.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
and it was not December, it was January. So
still sounds right. Sounds about right.
I showed up bearing my whole Matt ass, and all we really did was sort of say things that were basically, these are reasons you should not like me. And we did that to each other for 4 hours. And then I asked her out on the way home. I like texted her and said, "Hey, that was fun. Like to do it again." I asked her out with the expectation that she would say no. And I think the way she and I have talked about this since, she has said, you know, I just kind of respected the absolute audacity that you had to ask me out again. Then we had like the best second date ever, and we've been together ever since. But
I bet you still have that Wu-Tang sweater, don't you?
oh god, yeah. Oh god, yeah. Wait, so also adding to the fun. Reba is Jewish. So for Hanukkah dinners, I will wear the Wu-Tang Christmas sweater. And her mother, Diane, whom I love dearly, is the best sport about it. She's like, "Oh, you're doing that thing again." I'm like, I'm like, I'm like, I've seen Fiddler on the Roof, Diane. It opens with that song about tradition. Well, here you go. And yeah, I was going somewhere with that, but like classic Matt and Corey conversations, I
Yeah.
lost it. I lost it somewhere along there.
That's fair. I mean, that's what happens, you know.
Yeah.
We're getting old. We're dads. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, here's another question. Here's another dad question for you. Not really
Right.
so much advice. After your first was born, how long before you guys knew you were going to have a second? Like, was
We
that
actually
planned or
we actually always planned to have two.
Mhm.
We actually waited a little bit longer than I think we wanted to. I don't know why it just happened that way, you know. But
Well, now
uh,
did you wait a little longer or did it just happen a little bit later than you expected?
no, we just kind of it just kind of happened that way. I
Okay.
mean,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, I don't know how this. I mean, I know how the science works, but I don't know, like, you know, the probabilities of rolling the dice and
Yeah, the biological
scoring the
stuff.
ace. You know what I you know
Yeah,
what I
the
mean?
biological
So,
stuff is
uh,
there's science around it, but it's not
mhm,
always exact.
yeah, but you know, we just my we actually thought we were gonna have two girls.
Oh,
Like we
really?
had, yeah, we had thought that from the beginning, just because girls run in my family.
Hmm.
I'm the only boy on my dad's side of the family. Uh, most of my cousins are girls. Girls run in my wife's family, so it's like we just thought we were gonna have two girls, right?
Isn't
And
she one of like several girls?
well, she has a sister.
Oh, I thought she had more than one. I
No,
apologize.
no.
Like I knew about the one because we met because of the
Mhm,
one. Yeah.
mhm,
Yeah.
yeah. And so yeah, and then when my so my wife was pregnant during COVID with the second one, and so
Blast.
I
Must have
was
been
like,
great.
I mean, I wasn't allowed to do anything
Yeah.
with her because I mean I was still working. Like
Hmm.
I had it one of what were they called, the uh
Essential workers job.
yes, an essential workers job, yeah, at a
Mhm.
car dealership, yeah, sure. uh Gosh, I'm
Amazing
so
what they'll call essential, right?
right. Yeah, and so we I got all like the ultrasounds and the videos and stuff through phone, through
Mhm.
messages and stuff, and it was like they told her it was a boy, and we were both shocked because we had kept all of like Riley's clothes and stuff, and it was just like, oh, okay, well, hmm,
I mean,
I guess we're having a boy.
I mean, at least when they're that young, you can kind of just recycle it,
Yeah, I mean, we
and
recycled a lot,
it's
but
fine.
like, yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, so it was kind of a surprise to us, but we kind of got in that mindset where like we don't want them to be grow up alone, because like I was an only child, and I mean my cousin lived with us, and my cousins were always in and out, but I never really had like a sibling to like
Mhm.
learn from or hang out with or talk to or anything, and you know that was kind of a I don't want it's I don't know any better, so like it wasn't like lonely, but like I see people, I see the bond my wife has with her sister, and like I never had that, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, hopefully they'll have that. um so and my nephews they're like best friends, so
That's awesome.
Yeah, so they like really love each other. So that's good too. So and they only live like right down the street from us, so they're hanging out all the time and doing things together. And next year Riley's going to go to school with my youngest nephew.
Nice.
She'll be in kindergarten. He'll be in second grade, third grade, something like
Hmm.
that. I don't know. He's 8, so I
Right.
don't know what grade that is.
That's first, second grade, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
That
I
might
don't know.
actually that might actually be second. That
Yeah,
because I'm thinking I was 6 in kindergarten, 7 in first, yeah, 8 in second grade.
yeah. So there's that. But
Hmm. I remember where I was going now, by the way.
oh, you want to continue that
But
thought?
I'll let you finish.
Uh, yeah. We just always wanted them to have siblings and people to, be there for them.
Yeah.
Because like I mean, I've kind of grown really distant from my cousins, for the most part. Uh,
Hmm.
and I mean, not to sound morbid or sad or anything, but like when my parents are gone, like my wife's like all I have, and like
Yeah.
that's gonna be a really big need to lean on her
Sure.
for that.
Yeah.
Uh, but
Well, what's your relationship with your in-laws like? Do you mind
uh,
if I ask? If you want to share, you don't have to
yeah,
share.
I mean it's good, it's fine. My
Mhm.
my mother-in-law's, we go over there once in a while for dinner, and we have a good relationship, I think. So
Okay.
yeah.
All right. So where I was originally going was our journey, like from no kid to kid. Reba was told she wouldn't carry before she met me, and then when we first met after the awkward date, we started talking about. She's like, "I'm really interested in kids. Is that a problem for you? Because some guys, that's a problem." And it at the time, I said, "It's a conversation I'm willing to have. Like, I'm not pro having kids. I'm not anti kid, but it's a conversation I'm willing to have." And as we, got close, fell in love, all of that, she said, "Okay, well, I've already like registered with adoption agencies. I've taken the classes. We need to get you to do that if we want to do this." So I started doing that. We eventually set up an account with an adoption agency, and we would get emails, and we like started putting money away for that uh, because we started putting money away for adoption, and that became a soul crushing process for us. We got really close a couple of times, and that sucked. And then after a while, we were kind of, for lack of a better term, priced out of it. It got really way too expensive for us. Um, and we were doing private adoption, not foster, mainly
Hmm.
because we did want a newborn so Reba could have the newborn experience, and B, um, in the foster system, at least in Pennsylvania, it is very easy for a kid to be taken back by the birth parents. Way easier from the foster system than it is for private adoption, and it's not exactly difficult for private adoption in PA. So we things that had prevented Reba from um, having kids, both um, pathologic as well as like medical history. We started looking into it. We're like, it's not been there have not been a lot of problems, so we decided to look into possibly carrying. We got a go ahead, and we through a bunch of love and a little bit of science, we now have a son. Speaking of which, the son's here, but
What?
yeah, but I'm going to ask for Reba's sake and our preference, pause the recording, and I will introduce you to Aton. All right, so yeah. Unfortunately, viewers will not get to see my son, but Corey got to
I did.
because and I did that specifically because you used to show us your kids right before we started recording.
Yep.
I wanted to do that before, but he's on that hair trigger. Like, if you wake me up, I'm gonna scream for hours.
That's about right. Yes. Yes.
So yeah, it's been a weird journey to get here, and we're here now, and we're tired. And I'm pretty sure most husbands will say this about their wives, but motherhood looks really wonderful on Reba. She loves it. I've never seen someone so happy.
Have you ever felt so lost in your life where you look at them and you're just like, how do you know how to do that?
Yeah. Like nobody taught you that.
Yeah. And you're just like my daughter leaves a piece of paper on the ground, and I'm like getting like really like, and my wife's just all like patient about it, and like, you know, she knows what to do. I'm like, you're a wizard.
Yeah. And I don't know if you were thinking about this when your first was born, but I immediately realized that I've always thought like people who are single parents have it very, very difficult. I had no clue how difficult raising a child by yourself can be. I could not imagine doing this without at least one other person.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
and like collectively, Reba and I, we could not do this without her mother. And so anybody that has done this by themselves, you are made of different stuff. You are way stronger than any of us.
Yeah.
And you do not get enough respect.
Yep. Nope. That's how it goes. Oh man.
Yeah.
So well, I have a can't be an episode with us without someone from Secret Friends chiming in with a question. This will actually transition us into like other stuff besides being boring dads.
Cool.
Todd asks 2 questions. He says, "What does Matt miss most about me?" It's all about Todd Oxtra.
About you, Corey?
No, about Todd. About Todd.
Oh, okay. There is something about talking to Todd Oxtra that, unless you've done it, you can't. I can't really explain it. Corey's done it several times, just like
including the Boss Rush Plus episode that went up right before this, actually.
But Todd is one of the smartest, funniest, and for lack of a better term, and I don't mean this derogatory, I mean this with the utmost respect, but he's one of the nerdiest people I've ever met. Nerdy to the point that I respect and admire.
Mm-hmm.
I love getting him going on a topic, be it Star Wars, Star Trek, or I said Star Trek, video games, any of it, and listening to him, Charlie, him and Mark, listening to all of them interact with one another, like, it's Secret Friends is a wonderful place, and anybody who listens understands that. But I was actually just thinking about him earlier today. For some reason, the episode of Nerds Gone Rogue that he was on, when he showed up late and he had the headband on, I was thinking about that. I was thinking about that, and I'm like, man, I miss Todd. But Todd is one of the nicest people you will ever meet, and he's also, I've seen him be like critical of things, or at least say like, here's why I don't like something. I've never seen him be blatantly like angry at something. He's very, and I love that about him. But also
Yeah,
his voice is soothing too. I think his voice. I love his voice. I miss
yeah,
you, Todd.
I know.
I hope I
We
hope
gotta
that kind of answers your question.
we gotta have like that a reunion with us three and just hang
That,
like sit and just talk for a
yeah,
couple hours.
yeah,
You know?
that'd be dope.
Yeah, we'll get that. We'll get
We
that
should
going.
we should do that like around Father's Day. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
That'd be
When is
cool.
that? June?
June
June.
something.
Yeah. Somewhere in there.
Yeah, I know Mother's Day is next week, so
Yeah. Next week. It's in like 4 days. 5 days.
it's on a Sunday. Sunday begins the week. It's next week.
Yeah.
And what is time at this point?
Tomato.
what is time? Time is a 3D prism. I don't know.
He also asked second, how has being dad how's being dads changed your gaming habits and how you now use your limited time? Oh
So
boy.
so being a dad has definitely, oh boy, I was not expecting. Well, okay, I was expecting to have a very massive bite of that taken out. I wasn't expecting to have as much game time as I have. Like I've had quite a bit, to the point where instead of I'm also playing things that I can put down and walk away from, and nothing happens.
Yeah.
Like I recently picked up Darkest Dungeon again,
Mm.
and that's like a turn-based semi-roguelike dungeon crawler. It's not like a full roguelike because if you die in a dungeon, it doesn't end things.
Yeah.
But I've never finished it before, so I'm like, I'm gonna finish that. And there were a couple of days where I would have Aton like next to me sleeping, and I would be playing that. And if he like started stirring, I would address his needs and like hold him, and just all of a sudden, like I can walk away, and it's nothing. It's not like playing Dark Souls or anything like that, where if you can't pause it, if you walk away, you are still just alive, and people can deal with you. I also, and when I beat that, I picked up another roguelike, Invisible Ink. I've been playing that
Mm.
again, and that game, oh, that game is so good. But so I've been playing a lot of turn-based stuff. I have gotten a bit of Monster Hunter in, but not as much as I would, not as much as I used to for sure, but not as much as like where I can make a lot of progress at once.
Yeah.
But like when I have time and I can do it, I do it. But a lot of times, like I'm actually playing it in bed on Switch, or like I don't really sit down here at the PS5 a lot. I still have a PS4. We have that upstairs, so if I'm like up early and I've like fed Aton and have some time, I will fire it up. But yeah, I'm trying to get it in when I can. Um, I'm very excited this week because Breath of the Wild, well, Tears of the Kingdom. I was going to say Breath of the Wild 2.
I know. I always call it Breath of the Wild too. It's just that name just does not stick well.
Yeah, I mean, I think once I start playing it, it'll sink in, and I'll not be disrespectful. But I'm very excited to play that. I'm very excited to show that to Reba again. I'm hoping the cooking's in it again, because when I played the first one on Wii U, like I would just be like, "Hey, I got a whole bunch of ingredients. You want to cook?" And she would come down, do all the
Well,
cooking.
you can. Well, there's more than just that now. You can actually store recipes and like
Oh, that's cool.
track recipes. So if you want to make something very specific, you can keep the recipe and then store it. So
Oh, that's cool.
yeah.
Nice quality of life. I haven't paid attention to much more than the announcement trailer, because I knew once it was announced that, yeah, I'm gonna play that. Like, why spoil myself?
Yeah.
But But yeah, I'm like between jobs right now, so I have like a weird amount of time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Unfortunately, I'm changing hospitals, basically changing specialties, and I'm actually going to be starting 2 jobs. One is per diem, which will just be like extra money,
Mm-hmm.
and the other one is a pretty nice, um, a 4 10-hour shift job that is in interventional radiology, which is something I've always wanted to do. And it's on the neuro side, so I'm gonna be doing brain shit. So I'm excited.
Ooh,
Yeah.
brains.
Mm-hmm. Brains are cool,
Fun.
man. Brains are cool.
Nice.
um, so yeah, I start the neuro job on the 22nd, and I'm in the middle of training at my PRN gig, but it's the hospital I used to work at when I was on Nerds Gone Rogue. It was local community hospital here. I'll just do like weekend stuff there a couple times a month. And yeah, I do. Basically that'll be how I pay for my Steam Deck or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Cool. That's
Mm-hmm.
cool. I'm glad that you get to do that.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
So that's why I am going to be off when Tears of the Kingdom comes out, and I'm going to try and spend as much time as possible with it.
You should come on. We're having the founder of Zelda Universe on a
Ooh.
week or two after the game comes out. You should come on that episode because I think Laurent's going to take a week or two off.
Okay.
So you should come on that episode.
So just let me know the details, and I'll try and make arrangements.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, it's I mean, whatever that Wednesday is at 8:30, like normal.
Okay.
So but yeah, you should definitely come on that episode and hang out with us and talk.
Okay.
Are you doing any of your other podcasts or anything right now?
So Trivial Merit is in the midst of starting back up. We've picked our first couple of episodes, and we're doing all the listening right now. I actually have to reach out to Caroline and schedule when we record our first episode, but things are in motion there. And Freereeling It is going to be coming back. Jesse and I have already started like plotting our movies for the next couple, and we are getting started 100% on our bullshit. We're doing just weird. Well, I say weird, but like these are pretty well known movies. Like I think our first one is going to be Yi Yi from 1999, and the other one is going to be Andrei Tarkovsky's The Mirror. So
those sound like Matt movies.
Yeah, it's he suggested Yi. I go, okay, how about The Mirror? He's like, wow, we're just going in off the deep end, aren't we? I go, don't mess around.
just going for it.
Yeah, I really like weird movies, and I really like hard to watch movies. I really like movies that'll challenge me, and Jesse's the same.
Of me.
Jesse is the same, so
yeah.
He and I get along great.
If you want to be a Patreon producer, head on over to patreon.com/bossrushmedia and find out which tier is right for you. Our Patreon producers at the $5 tier or higher for this month are Adriel Munger, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, Christian S., Sana Dierig, Francisco Santillan, and Rebecca Jewell. Thank you for your continued support. Great. That's cool. Yeah, I've just been I don't know, man. I finally hit a point where like I'm happy where everything is because I'm just
good.
You know how I am. I'm like, I got to do like 900 different things.
You have to be firing on too many cylinders.
Of course I do, and we've kind of adjusted the podcast and the content that we're doing to like not burn anybody out.
Good.
So that's kind of where we're at. And, it's good. I actually played and beat a video game this weekend.
I saw that.
Yeah. So I guess we could do that. Listen, what are we playing and doing? Like,
what did you beat?
So I played a game called Ravenlock.
Okay.
Uh,
I
it's
have never heard of this game.
it's an Xbox exclusive
Mhm.
from Coco Cucumber. It's an indie game, Matt. On
What?
top of that, yeah,
W-
I played the whole thing. Got 1,000 achievement points.
Look at you.
I know. I'm basically an indie connoisseur now.
Awesome. Awesome.
You know?
Time goes with it goes with you being the music guy on the site.
Yeah. I am also the music guy. You know. So yeah, it's cool. It's like this. So it's not like the most amazing game by any stretch of the imagination. It's like this. I would compare it to. I would say it's like it's Death's Door. Like it's like the camera's kind of isometric, but not in a way that you expect it to be. It's more of like I guess it's more like you're watching a stage play, and like the camera's like facing head on, right? And
Mhm.
like the space is like a 3D space, but you can't rotate the camera that much. You can like it's almost like you can shift it to the left and shift it to the right, but you can't do like a full
Right.
360 motion with the camera. Um, it's this Alice in Wonderland Zelda style adventure,
Hmm.
and you go, you literally get pulled through a mirror, and you get sucked into this Alice in Wonderland, straight up Alice in Wonderland world, and you go through and you have to fight the queen to eliminate the darkness from this land, right? And
Sure.
you when you go through the mirror, you meet the White Rabbit. His name's Finn. He's kind of chaotic and crazy, and uh, at the end of the road, you find the mansion. You find this mansion, and you have to go in and solve these puzzles in the mansion. Uh, it's really a cool experience. I highly recommend it if you have Game Pass and Xbox. Their last game was Echo Generation, which is that voxel kind of Stranger Things looking
Oh
game.
yeah. I
That
think
was their
that's
last game.
I feel like I have that because of PS Plus.
Yeah, I think it's
So I
on
know
PS
it's on
Plus.
Place. I know it's on Place. I'm almost positive it's on PlayStation.
Yeah, it was an Xbox Game Pass game first, and then it came to PlayStation 3 months later, I think.
Yeah.
Uh, but that was their last game, and this game is basically the same art style and the same kind of camera angles and stuff. Uh, it's really cool. I recommend it if you have Game Pass and you need a game that you want to just. It's a perfect palate cleanser for like whatever game you just played, and Zelda is coming up, and it's like
Mhm.
this. It's to get all the achievement points. It took me about 6.5 hours. Uh,
Oh
so
wow, love that.
yeah, it's super short. I played it over 3 nights, and it was cool. It was awesome. I even played a little bit through the cloud on my phone with a backbone. Um, Not the best experience by any stretch,
Sure.
but it was fun. It was cool. I like the character of Ravenlock is the main character. Uh, it's funny. You name your character at the beginning, and you kind of start out as this girl, and you're kind of hanging out under this tree with your dog, and you pet the dog. You get an achievement for petting the dog. Uh,
Awesome. Love it.
yeah, and you go and your family's moving into this new country house, right? There's a barn, there's a shed. Your house has boxes in it. You have to do a couple missions or, quests for your parents. And, you know, once you do those, your dad tells you to go play. Why don't you check out what's in that old barn over there? And you go in, and there's all these things covered in sheets, and there's boxes, and there's a mirror in the back. And you want to see the mirror, but so you go into the house and you grab a dish rag and you clean the mirror off, and then you're like, I've seen this mirror before or whatever, and like you touch it, and then you get sucked in. And the characters in this Wonderland place know you as Ravenlock because you're the warrior that has come to say you're part of their prophecy, the person who has come to save their land. And so
Hmm.
you just there's three kind of main areas, right? There's the mushroom forest, there's the labyrinth, and then there's the clock tower. And you have to solve missions in these three sections of the game and collect three emblems that you then put into the castle door to unlock the door to go fight the queen. Uh, so it's a pretty pretty short experience, but well worth the time I put in. And yeah, it's cool. I like the voxel look of the world. Uh, it's cool. So
Nice.
yeah,
Nice.
so I played that, and we've also been watching Ted Lasso. We're all
Okay.
caught up. We're all caught up now. I really like that show.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a great show.
Yeah, everyone keeps telling me like I would love that.
I'm actually shocked you haven't watched it yet.
I don't have Apple TV, so
Yeah.
that's like the only reason.
Yeah. No, I get it. It's I mean, Apple TV is just like another subscription, but we've actually been watching a ton of Apple TV. We've actually been watching this show Shrinking on there too,
Okay.
which is it's by the same people who do, well, it's part of the team that did Ted Lasso,
Mm-hmm.
and Jason Segel. It stars Jason Segel and Harrison Ford, and their therapists, and so I guess minor spoilers for the first 5 minutes of the first episode. Jason Segel's wife has passed away, and he's trying to grieve about his wife passing away. It's like a year after she's passed, and he's still kind of grieving and whatever. He's trying to find a new way to kind of grieve, and so by doing that, he finds this new way to help his therapist, which is probably super illegal, right? But it's the premise of the show, like one guy he helps that's super aggressive, he takes him to boxing lessons or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And his mentor is Harrison Ford, which is, he's just playing grumpy Harrison Ford, and he's the best part of the show by far.
Love that.
He's so funny. Oh my god. But Harrison Ford's
Harrison Ford in that Bill Murray level of not giving a fuck.
He's actually trying, which makes it even better.
Wait, Harrison Ford? Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. He's playing. I mean, obviously he's old, but he has Parkinson's, and he has no one to take care of him because
Mm-hmm.
him and his wife split up a long time ago, and his daughter and his ex-wife live on the East Coast, and they're in Pasadena. So, it's funny. It's a funny show. It has a lot of heart in it, and I would recommend that too. We're only about 3 episodes in, but
Okay.
it's good.
Yeah. I'm looking into probably I know eventually we're probably gonna have to get Disney Plus just because kid. But
Can't survive without it.
no.
The mouse will get you. They know. He knows.
Well, it's and so it's really funny. The idealism new parents have, like there's a whole bunch of things. I'm not gonna pretend to know anything about raising a child. Not gonna pretend, because I am flying by the seat of my pants every day now.
If it makes you feel better, I'm still pretending.
Yeah, like I don't. I mean, I'm not like I'm trying. My concern is genuine. I genuinely want to help. I genuinely try. But I don't know if I'm doing anything right. Reba and her mother tell me I'm doing great, so I will take it from them. But it's really funny how when I, like, weeks before he showed up, I asked about like pacifiers because we didn't have any pacifiers, and she's like, "Why would we get pacifiers? They're so bad." I'm like, "Why are they bad?" And I got a laundry list of reasons why they're bad. And 2 weeks after he's home, I really think a pacifier would do good right now. And Reba's like, "You know what? You're right." And then we got pacifiers. And I'm like, "Remember what you said a few weeks ago?" She's like, "Yes, I remember. Don't bring it up." I'm like, and then, after we were able to get some sleep that night, because new babies are hard, I asked, "So why did you buckle like a belt on that one?" She's like, "Eventually, my any ideals are always trumped by what a baby needs to settle down. So if it
Yeah.
soothes him, it's fine.
Hmm.
And I'm like, that seems, and and I'm me being the oppositional person that I am. I'm like, seems like you just have a price at that point. She's like, don't make this any harder than it has to be, honey. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. You're right. I feel like I eventually we'll learn, and eventually he's gonna try and play us against each other. As long as we present a united front, we're okay. But I'm just pointing this stuff out now because that's just who I am. But yeah, kids are hard.
Yeah, it's funny. My kids never took pacifiers. Like they just never did.
Really.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like he did for a while, but like I think he's gotten wise to the pacifier game. He's over the past couple of days, he's not really cared for it.
Yeah. Uh, I
He was
think
on a good streak of sleeping through the night too. That he shattered that one. He's like, nope, it's party time all the time now.
Yep. It's party time. Party on Wayne, right?
Yep, party on Garth.
He
We are not worthy.
yeah. Yeah, I think the only advice I could give you, and by me I mean my wife,
Sure, yeah, no,
uh
100%.
uh to keep them on as much of a schedule as you possibly can, in terms of like naps and putting them to sleep and baths and all that, because it really teaches them how, like, okay, it's bath time, so it like subconsciously, like, okay, 15 minutes after bath time, we're gonna get tucked in, and
Yeah,
sometimes that works. I mean, obviously, like, my son didn't start sleeping through the night until about, I don't know, a couple months ago.
yeah,
So it's
yeah. I think like he's he is. We're trying the scheduled thing, and like, and I when I was still waking up with him at like 3 in the morning. Like for a while, I was going to bed at like when I got done with work, I would come home, like eat a little bit of something, and then just go right to bed and wake up at like 3 in the morning, change him, give him a bottle,
mhm.
all of that, just so Reba could get some rest. And when I did that, I made sure and like I didn't turn on a ton of lights, didn't like make too much noise. Um, Although I did find it really cool that
Mhm.
whenever I put Gundam on, he was pretty soothed. Uh, he would just sort of look towards the bright light of the TV. I know he can't see that far yet, but he would just sort of look and just have his eyes open and just be like, TV's happening. But when he started sleeping, we kind of threw that out. Um, but nowadays we're trying to keep him pretty scheduled, but he does not like to be told what to do in any way, shape, or form. And it's not even like we're telling him. We're like, hey, it's food time. He's like, nope, I'll eat a little now, and then I'll tell you when I'm ready for more. And yeah, so I think we're at the point of trying to establish that. I think.
Yeah,
I think.
it's
I think.
yeah, it's crazy because, like, when there's one, right, you feel like you can handle one, but as soon as there's two kids, you're outnumbered, right? It doesn't matter
Oh
if you
God,
and your
we're
wife
we're
are
out
both there.
we're outnumbered right now.
Yeah, it's it's man, I'm so glad, like, we're stopping it too, because, like, my kids are at the age now where they're like pretty self-sufficient for the most part,
Hmm.
right? Especially my
Yeah,
daughter. She'll, like, you give her some crayons and some paper and some whatever, she'll color and draw and craft until she has to go to bed, right? Like, she comes from school, she goes right to her little desk and starts coloring and drawing.
good
I
for
mean,
her.
some nights she'll, like, get crazy and whatever if she's
Sure.
tired or something happened at school that she won't tell us about, I don't know, but, like,
Hmm.
she'll, like, she loves art. You should see our house. Like, there's a whole wall in the living room dedicated to her artwork, and there's a whole wall in the kitchen dedicated to her crafts from
Get it,
school.
Riley. Get it.
Yeah. And so she's yeah, she's great, but he's getting to the point where like he's got energy now. He sprints up and down the hallway. He rides this little scooter up and down the hallway. like my son is obsessed with Toy Story, so he has a Buzz and a Woody that we got at Disney World, and he like plays with them, and like he'll throw Buzz and like get mad that he doesn't fly. Like, it's funny.
Love that.
And like he'll play with his dinosaurs, and he starts making all these like dinosaur growling sounds. He'll be like, rawr, 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 rawr. And it's the funniest thing. He's like at that age where like he just makes all these hilarious noises and sounds, and oh my gosh, dude, the other day I was in the kitchen getting his lunch ready.
Mm-hmm.
And like he just walks up to me, he smiles at me, he lifts his leg like a dog and farts on me, laughs, and
God, I love that. Oh,
laughs. No, he laughs and then he runs away. I'm like, oh well, that was nice. Thanks, buddy.
I cannot wait for my son to do that.
Oh my gosh, it was funny. I have to admit, it was pretty funny.
Oh yeah, I mean, Aton is hilarious now. He does things that, like, it's amazing at 2 months and change old how much of a personality he already has. Like, that blows my mind every day. Like earlier today, we were sitting in bed. He had just ate, and so like did you guys use like a boppy pillow?
Mm-hmm.
It's like like a 3/4 donut thing. Well, anyway,
Mm-hmm.
after he's done eating, we'll like set that in the bed and we'll just sort of sit him up in it.
Mm-hmm.
And he still fits in it, and he's generally pretty happy when we do that. We also wait like a couple. We don't do that right after, because you got to burp them, all that stuff. Assume all that stuff has been done because we do that. But I was playing Invisible Ink on Switch, and I was just doing like a commentary of what I was doing, just to like engage with him a little bit. And I was telling him about the characters, and he's just like making these little sounds as if he's trying to interrupt me and saying, "Listen, man, you don't know what you're talking about."
Right.
And I'm like, this kid, if Reba and I are anything to go by, this kid is going to have some sarcasm in him for the ages.
Yeah.
And I'm already like impressed and intimidated.
The thing too is like they learn so fast, right? They'll start doing things that you're like, what the fuck is that? How does he know how to do that already? My son, like, we have Connect 4, and my daughter likes to play Connect 4 sometimes, but she cheats all the time. She's like,
of course,
you can't put your yellows circles there. My red ones go there. And I'm like, that's not how it's played.
That's not how this works, but whatever. Okay.
But like, we were done playing it, and like my son is like picking them up and putting them in the thing, but he's like putting the reds with the reds and the yellows with the yellows, and like he's 2, man. It's like, I'm like, oh my gosh, I still don't know if I would take the time to do that, little, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Oh my gosh, he's like, man, he already eats with like normal silverware, and like
at 2,
yeah, and like he'll eat cereal with like a regular spoon. He'll eat all the cereal and then pick the bowl up himself and drink the milk. And then he'll hand you the empty bowl and be like, he'll say, done. Like, he'll hand you the bowl when it's empty and say, done.
That's awesome. Like, that is so cool. But yeah, that's what 2.
Yeah. Yep.
And then like the silly person in me wants to go, how did he learn that? But then also I know he would just say, I learned it from watching you, Dad.
Mhm.
You know, it's just like because they pick all of that stuff up. It's
Yeah.
like
This kid, man, he's just like, I gotta tell you, man, like both of them are just, I don't understand how they know all this stuff, and I'm not gonna pretend like I know what they're doing.
like,
But
I wish my mind was still as absorbent as theirs.
yeah, it's they're pretty
I would learn so much. I hope.
yeah, it's they're, I don't know, they're pretty good kids for the most part. Although my daughter is like getting into Pokemon cards now, right? Because my nephew is into them.
Nice.
And I have one of my binders up here on my bookshelf that has like all my old cards in it because I was going through them to get rid of some.
Mm-hmm.
And she took the book and took the one she wanted out of it, and was like, I want these. And I'm like, no. And then like she straight up lied to me and said she didn't take them, and she put them under their, like, there's like they have this rocking horse in there with like this big base. She put
Uh-huh.
them under it to hide them. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I think her birthday's coming up, so I think I'm gonna get her like a binder and her own set of,
Nice.
like,
Yeah.
like a couple packs to open, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like a,
Like, now, do they just look at the cards? Do they actually play?
oh, my daughter just likes to look at them and like, oh, this one's so cute, this one's so cute, this
Mm-hmm.
one's ugly, I don't want this one.
Yeah.
uh I think my daughter's favorite one is Squirtle right now, so
Nice.
yeah, she loves it. But it's because my nephew likes it, and they're like so close. Like, it's ridiculous how close my daughter and my nephew are. And
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna be like, I don't know, man. If I don't, they're so close. It's ridiculous. They
Yeah.
like, whenever they hang out, they're always together, right? They're always doing everything together. Like, he's gonna be the one that like gets her in trouble, right? Or vice
Nice. Yeah.
versa or something,
Yeah.
when they're
Well,
older.
hopefully, like when they're like teenagers and whatnot, I know it's like a
Hmm.
ways off, but like hopefully they can like remain friends, remain close, and like watch each other's back and
Yeah, that's
help
kind of what
Miles
we're.
along too. I mean, because that, like, I have a lot of cousins, uh, in my branch of the family tree. I have like 26 on my mom's side and more than 10 on my dad's side. I don't remember the exact numbers, but none of us talk
Yeah.
because, and I don't really, I know, I moved away as like a lot of the ones that are immediately younger than me started like really growing up and really like getting out of high school and all that. Um, and for all intents and purposes, like we were all very different people anyway. But
Hmm.
when I moved away, like a lot of that communication just stopped happening, mainly because I wasn't present at the family gatherings. Like we never really called each other anyway.
Yeah.
But because I wasn't present for a lot of that, like I we all are basically not estranged, but we're definitely just apart.
Yeah.
Um, and I wish that wasn't the case, but also like they all have multiple kids now, and trying to do that around children is around the schedule of children is really hard.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Kids, man. It's trying to schedule stuff around kids, man. It's funny
Yeah,
because
it's,
like,
oh man, it's already hard.
yeah, it's funny because like you try to like, I mean, when you don't have kids, it's like, oh, let's just go do the thing, right? But like
Mhm.
when you have kids, especially young ones, like you got to make sure they're fed. You got to pack snacks. You got to make sure they didn't poop. You got to get them ready. You
Yeah.
got to pack like a suitcase full of stuff to keep them occupied. And it's like by the time by the time
Or
you
you
get them
just
ready, you're like, I just don't want to go now.
you just have to be ready for things to happen. I mean, I don't have to keep him. I don't have to pack like activities for Aton yet,
Hmm.
but it's not like getting him out of the house is quick.
Yeah.
And I know that like as Reba and I do that more often. But, like we're lucky our pediatrician is real close because we are getting to those appointments by the skin of our teeth on time.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Kids,
at
man.
least now we're at a point where we can like take him out with us. Like we don't
Yeah.
have like one person doesn't have to go do the grocery shopping.
Hmm.
Like we don't have to like make sure someone can watch him when we have to go out to eat or when we want to go out to eat. I just have to.
Yeah.
But he can come to the store with us now. He can, if we want to like walk down to Main Street and get like tacos, we can eat outside with him next to us.
Yeah.
And it's perfect weather for it too.
Yeah. Tacos. Sounds good
Mm-hmm.
right now, actually.
Yeah, there's a taqueria right near us. It's a 10-minute walk. We're lucky we walk there because then we just burn the calories walking back.
Yeah. Smart.
Mm.
Smart. Healthy. You know what I mean?
Sure. It's keeping us alive. And also we're eating stuff that's like super comfort food. So when we are at our most stressful and our most like just burnt out, at least we get a little bit of a smile.
Yeah. Man, good times.
Mm-hmm.
Good times. What are you playing anything? Are you watching anything? Are you reading? Are you just trying to sleep?
So I'm watching. I've been watching a lot of in my over parental leave and um in between like at lunches while I was still working and whatnot. I've been watching a lot of anime, believe it or not. Uh, I've been
Shocker.
I've been plowing through the Gundam franchise, at least things that I've not seen. Like I'm watching. Well, I have seen Victory before, but it's been a long time since I've seen it. I'm watching that again. It's really fun. I'm about 3/4 of the way through that. I watched on Netflix. I watched the entire Violet Evergarden series, and that is a cool ass series.
Hmm.
Um, and then I've been watching Robotech, the Macross part of it, like the Super Dimension Fortress Macross part of it. I know that like um, Super Dimension Fortress SDF Macross is the first season of Robotech. They are not the same, but having seen them before and watching them again, it's I know the differences. And yes, I know Harmony Gold sucks, but until Macross comes west or is streamable, I don't really have a way to watch that. But I would love to again because Macross is cool. Let's see what else. I watched the Berserk series that came out in the late 90s because I've read almost the entire manga. I've read 10 of those deluxe volumes. I have I think 3 or 4 more to get through before I read all of that. The series is well before the end, like it's I think it's just the golden age arc, or at least that's what they're focusing in on. And it's really cool. I watched the entire Trigun series. That's that is one, Corey, I will tell you, that is one I would recommend to you.
What is it called?
It's called Trigun. There's
Trigun.
Trigun Stampede is the one that's coming out now. But the original Trigun from like 98 or 99, maybe even before, maybe even it's in the 90s, from the 90s. Uh it is just a one season thing, and it is absolutely glorious. It's enough bombastic action, enough stupid anime protagonist quips, and interesting side characters, and it's also not complicated. I don't think it's complicated the way anime tends to sometimes be. Some of it just tends to be like overwrought rather than actually complicated, and that stuff tends to be uh, pretty popular. But I'm not always. That's not always me. I have gotten Reba in through the first few seasons of My Hero Academia, which is another cool one.
Yeah, I hear a lot of people talk about that one.
It's I feel like it's probably the anime answer to like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but instead of taking a whole bunch of characters that have decades upon decades of backstory and lore, it's kind of doing all of that up front, and it manages a large cast of characters very well in a way that I don't see a lot of. There are plenty of bad ensemble, not only shows but like even movies that just don't manage a large cast well. But the fact that you always seem to be, I mean, it keeps you updated, or it gives you little reminders as to who's what and what their power is. But even with all that, it's a really cool show. And then playing, I mean, I mentioned Invisible Ink, I mentioned Darkest Dungeon. I've also been playing a game called Haven, which is about two characters that left their society. Uh, they ran away, and it was kind of an illegal act that they ran away, but they wanted to be together. And because I think, if I remember correctly, it's been a while since I've played, because it's been like a week or so since I've played. But they ran away from their society, and their society had already had like marriages planned for them, or maybe just one of them, but they wanted to be together. So they're kind of on the lookout for people to come looking for them, and they're also trying to find their way on this new planet that they're on, or this new system that they're in, to try and survive. It's actually a pretty well done It's not like it's not like Persona where there's like dating involved. It's just sort of like there are constant check-ins with being a couple.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like that. It's written very well. It's not perfect, but like the interactions between the two characters are very sweet in a way that you're just kind of like, oh, that's nice. I do appreciate that you can choose to be same-sex couples rather than just boy and a girl. I don't believe there are non-binary options, but you know, I don't think that is it doesn't come off to me as an oversight. I understand I'm cis, white, and straight, but I can see how how people would take that as they would like that to be better.
Yeah.
But it's really cool. Its traversal is the thing that I have really latched onto. I think in the past few years, there have been a slew of games that have this like almost Jet Set Radio inspiration in their traversal. Like this, Pathless, Solar Ash. They tend to just have that like very nice, smooth, almost skateboardy traversal.
Yeah.
It's a nice little game. We'll get back to it. I will finish it. But it's one of those that I can pick up and put down if I need to deal with my son.
Yeah.
We'll say this about Invisible Ink and Darkest Dungeon. What I have found, and I always appreciated this about them, but like Invisible Ink, as you get through more turns, like the alarm level increases, so it's constantly getting just a little more difficult. At least within the context of the mission. And with Darkest Dungeon, there is the stress mechanic, so you're always trying to manage your party's stress levels. Post pandemic, being a healthcare worker, it is really shocking how I look at all of that and I feel just comfortable. I think in 2016, when these games came out originally and I played them, I can't really remember, but I can imagine back then I would just look at this and be like, oh my God, these guys are getting stressed. These guys are getting stressed. And meanwhile, nowadays I'm looking at, nothing is fucked here. Like, you think it's been way worse. We've gotten through worse. We'll get through this. I believe in us. Let's go. And like, I mean, there's been nothing. It's been nothing short of thrilling to get out of a dungeon in Darkest Dungeon, or a dungeon in Darkest Dungeon where you guys have where you like. And then, so a little bit more story about Darkest Dungeon. If there are meters for stress, and if you fill the stress meter up, each character has a chance to be either afflicted or virtuous. I think almost always the scale is tipped more towards afflicted, because I've had more afflicted outcomes than I have had virtuous. But it's really funny how when they get afflicted, they can become abusive, hopeless, fearful. And if they become virtuous, there are other adjectives for that, but it changes the way they can play. When they're like abusive, they'll start kind of using abusive language towards your party members, stressing them out, or they will just out and out attack somebody. If they're hopeless, they will just automatically defend, or they'll just pass their turn sometimes in a round. Or if they might even just, if you try and heal them, they'll be like, no, don't even fucking bother. None of this matters anyway. And that for some reason in 2023, that is a vibe that I can understand.
Who knew?
With Invisible Ink, like, as the alarm level ratchets up and you start seeing, like, I'll say the level, but without getting too deep into it, you're basically hackers going after corporations, which also, as someone who's a left leaner, love that. But as each level sort of it finds its own way to sort of come back at you as the alarm level rises. So like, other soldiers will be deployed. Other security cameras will just come online and can really make your time in that level really stressful. But there is nothing quite like the adrenaline rush of a turn-based XCOM-y type roguelike, where you basically maneuver a character through vision cones of security guards. You are distracting them in ways that, like, they've been alerted to your presence, but they don't know exactly where you are, and you just shuck and jive your way to the exit just before they get the drop on you. And you exit the level, all your party survive, you get your rewards. Oh, it's so good. I can understand someone coming to either of these games and going, Matt, I don't know what you're on, because this is. I mean, honest, Corey, it would if I said this, you should play these. You would easily come back and go, Matt, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't think either of these games are for you.
Look,
but...
as dude, as
someone who has taken my recommendations and been like, Matt, I don't know.
As someone who finally played Bloodborne after listening to you talk about it for 2 years, probably close to.
But I'm very glad that I'm getting more game time than I thought I would as a father. But I'm also like, I've also been kind of lucky in going back to things and having them be just as, if not more rewarding than they were the first time around. And that's, I'm loving that.
Yeah.
I also bored you with a lot of anime talk. Sorry.
Oh, man.
Although I will say, Reba and I over the past couple years have gotten into, do you know what Gunpla is?
No, I don't know what that is.
So Gunpla it's basically model kits of Gundam robots.
Ah, okay.
Like that's the easy definition. Like Gunpla is basically a plastic model kit of an anime thing. But I've gotten Reba into that. So like we've put a bunch of those together like while we were on leave too, which is fun. And then she's also really into Binding of Isaac, the card game, which is, I did not expect that to happen.
Yeah.
Like when I told her there was an expansion for it, she's like, you should get it.
You should get it.
I think she only likes it because she's actually very good at it and tends to beat me a lot.
Yeah, but you know how obsessed you were with that game for a long time? Like,
what's this word shit?
Hey, I don't know. I haven't been Look, since I have not been keeping up on the Binding of Isaac.
Oh, that's fine.
Updates.
That's fine. That's fine. Well, to be honest with you, like it's one of those things. It's either I am in recovery or I have relapsed at this point. Binding of Isaac it's hard to believe I've been playing that game for 10 goddamn years.
I mean, if it makes you feel better, I've been playing Destiny for 10 years.
Yeah, like so. I mean, you know
See
the
this
sickness?
big stack of Destiny thing?
No, I see it.
Behind me?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Like it's not that like I don't have any Binding of Isaac stuff. I just don't have it unpacked and in the room.
Yeah.
But yeah, Reba, that Reba has come on that journey with me a little. Makes me happy. I even got her to play like with Repentance, the new expansion of it. There's multiplayer in it, so she and I can play together. It's kind of wild. She basically goes in. She's like, I'm just gonna let them kill me, and then I'll fly around as a ghost and like try and help out. It's multiplayer games are cool.
Yeah, most of them are.
Yeah. Some of them are bad.
Yeah, like Redfall is not great.
Oh, is that bad?
It's not terrible. It's not good.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've been keeping up with any of the stuff that's going on with Xbox.
Game news in general is honestly there was a direct recently. Not a Nintendo, a PlayStation 1. I feel like there was one of those recently.
Oh yeah, it was the Final Fantasy one.
Yeah, and people were talking about it. I'm like, I didn't even know that happened. They're like, how did you not know that happened? I go, oh, I'm a father now. There is a whole lot that's gonna just fly right by me.
Yeah.
But hey, you want a terrible joke that has a pun in it? Got you.
I got you. Dad jokes. Been preparing for years.
Yep, been practicing.
What
do you call an ant that won't go away?
A what?
An ant that won't go away.
What do you call an ant that won't go away?
A permanent.
Why is an ant impervious to disease?
I have no idea.
Because of its antibodies.
Where did Napoleon keep his armies?
Where?
In his sleeveys. Did you know there are dinosaurs in Fortnite?
Are there?
Velociraptors.
Oh no. I hate that one the most, I think. I hate that one the most. I don't hate Fortnite, but I hate that. Oh man, that's so funny. That's pretty funny.
Did you hear about that celebrity?
Oh no,
that stabbed herself?
No,
I think her name is Reese.
I don't know. Is this a joke or is this real? Is this still...
Well, it was a joke. I thought you'd say Witherspoon, and then I'd go with her knife.
Oh, okay.
That's not even mine. A coworker of mine got me really well with that.
Got him.
Yeah, no, she got me so good because she got me right as I walked into like X-ray in the ER, and I'm like looking at the schedule, and she's like, "Oh, I'm glad you're here. I was thinking about you this morning. Did you hear my news about that celebrity that got stabbed?" And she goes, "Reese." And I go, "Witherspoon?" She goes, "No, with her knife." I'm like, "You mother, like, what are you?" And I gave her a hug. I'm like, "You got me good. You got me very good," because I'm the one who's always doing the terrible jokes. And yeah,
man,
because my mind is a death trap for bullshit.
Oh man, me and my sister-in-law, we send each other like terrible Instagram reel jokes. They're just
love that.
Yeah, they're pretty funny.
Yeah. How do you find Will Smith in the winter?
How?
Look for Fresh Prince.
Yes. Man, that's funny.
Why does a chicken coop have 2 doors?
Why?
Because if it had any more, it'd be a chicken sedan.
Oh my gosh. I hate you so much. Why did we do this? Why?
It's your idea.
I know. It's awful.
See, and you know what the best part is? Reba went along with it. She's like, "Hey, yeah, you talk to Corey." And I'm like, "Yeah, that'd be cool."
Man, she's an enabler.
She is. She allows me to be myself. I don't know if it's my best or my worst, but
not only did she marry you,
yeah,
she's the mother of your child now.
Yeah.
So even if she came to her senses, she's stuck with you in some form now.
Yeah. She will forever have to deal with me at this point.
Oh my gosh.
But we should probably. I'm gonna say we should probably.
Yeah.
We should probably save some for sometime down the road.
Yeah, and you gotta come on when Zelda comes out, which it'll be out by the time this episode airs, but it's fine.
Yep. Maybe I will have come on by the time this comes out. Who knows?
Maybe you will. Maybe you won't.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Stay tuned.
Who knows how the schedule will fall? I do, because I have a spreadsheet with every single episode.
I can't even come in from the future and say, "Hey, guess what?"
Well, Matt, this was fun. We should make this a semi-regular thing. This
I would love to.
Fireside Chat, because I know you're not available like all the time, but once every month or every couple months or so.
Yeah, I will. I will. You know how to get a hold of me, and I know where you live now. So.
Oh no, that's right. You do know where I live now. I don't know if I like this.
Well, and then by the time you get my gift, you'll know where I live now, and we will have to just find new ways to get away from each other.
It's true.
And then somehow always come back.
Actually, I wonder if my wife gave you our address or her mom's address. Because if it's a big package, we usually have it sent to one of our parents' house.
Oh, okay. Well, this is probably not a big package.
Okay.
Because it's this size.
Okay. Gotcha. Noted. I'm gonna write it down. Noted. But yeah, Matt, come on, Boss Rush, and we'll talk Zelda. We'll talk about some other things and hang out for a while. And
oh yeah,
we'll do this. We'll make this some sort of regular-ish thing.
Cool.
Thanks for hanging out with me tonight.
Happy to.
Do you want to tell people where to find you? Or we just
sure. No,
yeah,
you can find cohost.org/infinite-rewind. That's where I'm trying to keep a social media presence. I'm on Twitter, infinite_rewind as well. But I'm not doing a whole lot of tweeting unless I'm talking about the NBA playoffs because they are wild. Oh, and the NHL playoffs because holy crap, hockey's cool this year.
Hockey's always cool. It's played on ice.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll see myself out.
No, please stay. But you can also listen to me talk about music on a podcast called Trivial Merit, where my friend Caroline and I make playlists based on an artist's catalog or a particular theme that we've decided to do. We do 8 songs to get us and hopefully you from a negative headspace to a positive one. And then you can also hear me talk about movies with my buddy Jesse on a podcast called Free Reeling It. I almost forgot how to say podcast there for a second. He and I basically pick a movie to watch and then we talk about it. Yeah. I'm not really confirming stuff when those will be out at the moment because we're still trying to finalize a schedule around me being a dad. So
fair. That's
so yeah,
important.
But freewheeling it on any pod service, Trivial Merit on any pod service, you'll hear us. Caroline and Jesse are both very, very funny people. So listen for them, not necessarily for me. Because they are hilarious. And I find myself laughing at shit they say all the time. So yeah, that's where you can find me.
Fun.
What about you, Corey? Oh, wait, we're basically in your house right now. So,
yeah. I mean, you can find me at I am Corey HG on Twitter and Instagram. You can find me doing 1,001 things on bossrush.net, youtube.com/bossrush network. Subscribe to all the podcasts wherever you're listening to this. And yeah, if you want to support us, you can go to Patreon and get early access to all of our podcasts for $1.
Yeah.
Or become a Patreon producer at the $5 tier if you so desire.
$5? Good Lord, that's not a lot of money.
If not, you just have to wait a week or two to get all of the content. It's free. So, But I want to thank everybody for watching and or listening to this little fireside chat. And we will see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye-bye now.
1v1, the Creator Interview Series, is a product of Boss Rush Media, LLC, and part of the Boss Rush Podcast Supplemental Podcast. This show is hosted by Celeste Roberts. You can also hear interviews from other Boss Rush Media members on your favorite podcast app or on YouTube. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at FairyCrypt. To get updates on the latest episodes, follow the Boss Rush Podcast, Boss Rush Media, and Boss Rush Network on all major social media platforms, or subscribe to the Boss Rush podcast feed in your favorite podcast application. Join the Boss Rush Network Discord and Facebook groups to interact with other friends and fans. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.